Hello, everyone, and welcome to Session 6 of The Foundation, a D&D 5e campaign, which is an empire-building campaign, which is something that, if you're crazy and you like to do lots of prep, I would suggest giving that a shot, because it is something that is, it's lots. It's crazy. But I'm joined by two of my four players today. Hopefully a third one's going to be showing up. In our last session, the session started with Sir Wayland Malbec leaving the group in the morning ahead of time. He made his way down to King's Gift on his way to Sunlit Shoals for apparently a small errand, or in his case, a meaningless task that he had to do. When he left the party, the remembrance of the party, Ostrid, Benjamin, Thankmar, and Leopold awoke. The giant's corpse still there. They still have the giant's ear. Don't know what's going to happen with that. And they went on their way to Forgemont. Now, the Sir Wayland Malbec reached King's Gift and met up and spoke with. Oh God, I'm having an absolute brain fart, which makes me the worst kind of person. Iskandar, which is weird because that's like the most common name in fantasy. True story. It's like the Mike of fantasy. So he went down and talked to Iskandar, and they spoke a little while about raising, or at least building, some type of a temple or shrine to either the god Bahamut or whatever god they choose to believe in, or at least hold. Also, before Sir Malbec left, he did warn Iskandar that a member or a friend of his had a bit of a problem with some items that belonged to a very dark god, very dark source. And I think we all know who that is, Thankmar. After that, the party, on their way, went to Forgemont. They arrived there, spoke with the guard, they got let in, and made their way to the keep of Forgemont, the home of Baron Sunden Albara. They made it into the tent, and before they went in, Benjamin had stated that he was going to start looking through the town for this Perfumed Man, or at least trying to get some kind of a lead. The others stayed, spoke with the Baron, and did mention that they had fought the giant. Baron was a bit concerned, said he would look into the matter, and they also presented Ostrid, the king's messenger, who, after some persuasion, did give him the letter. And during the time when they were at Forgemont, some elves went down to King's Gift and talked to Iskandar and led him away, and had made the very bold claim that they are looking to replace the king. That would be King Thoradin, heiress of the elves. Most of the elven tribes have lost faith in him and now want a new king. And the clan of Al-Toron, or the clan of Toron, now feels that Iskandar has a chance. And Iskandar did say yes, and the last we saw, he was led into the woods to begin preparations for that. So that's you caught up. What we're going to do now is we'll just start right into the session with Benjamin. Benjamin, as you leave the keep, looking behind, seeing the large walls and the keep kind of half built into the mountain, for a moment you're kind of in awe at the two huge statues flanking the main gates to the keep. They're two statues of dwarves. One is holding kind of in the kind of classic, two hands resting on the pommel end of a very large battle axe, and the other is holding a shield and a long sword, kind of in the dwarven style, long sword behind. Each one is made out of stone, but it looks to be that the stone also had huge veins of quartz in it, so you can see, like, even as the sun kind of shines in through the gray clouds, it still kind of lights up the quartz ever so slightly, so you get that kind of sparkle, that kind of hint of kind of a purplish blue light coming off of both statues. As you walk out, you see a large fountain kind of in the center. You see a path going to your left, like a large cobblestone road. And as you look down the road, you can see kind of off to the left-hand side, you kind of see a large kind of what looks to be kind of a forested area. And this is within the walls. To the right, you just see more buildings, and quite a few people seem to be like kind of funneling in that direction. And a few, not as many, are kind of going into the left. Where would you like to go? Or what would you like to do?
Benjamin worked his way up towards, through the criminal ranks as a young man, but he learned that often the most information is to be found in the least desirable places. So he wants to start trying to kind of suss out where the maybe industrial district or he was trying to look for some sort of a drinking establishment in one of the divier parts of town. Oh,
dang it. Oh, man. A little rusty, I guess. As far as the kind of seedier, well, it seems to be that more civilization, more, townships and that of the town is kind of more to the right. To the left, you see a few buildings, some inns, kind of like the medieval fantasy version of a Super 8, just kind of there, like just quick inns where travelers can come in, spend the night, and then like kind of leave out the front gates as quickly as possible. That's kind of in the kind of front of the whole town, and yeah, down the left, you again see more. It's just a few more buildings, but then it's just this kind of like larger area. You see a few buildings kind of poking out around, like through the kind of forest. But it's definitely a well manicured kind of a place.
Okay, yeah, I will start at the inns. Seems like a decent place to try to ask for things, but I'm gonna kind of try to. You said that the inns are basically straight ahead. The forest is off to the left. Okay. Yeah. I'll go to the inns first.
Sure.
I'm definitely interested in the forest, the wooded area.
As you so you make your way to the inn, you see one of them that says Burfarar's axe, and you see kind of a very, not a very nice drawing, but an okay drawing of a dwarven statue. It's very similar to one of the statues that's by the gates. The doors are open. You hear a little bit of noise, a few people laughing and drinking and things like that. You see that one right across. You also see another one called Uba's Rest, and it's another kind of, again, another picture of one of the other dwarven statue, just as crude. And you see a few people in there as well. Like the doors are wide open, just to kind of like, you know, air out the joint.
All right. I'll head into the first one.
Sure. So you go into Berfrar's axe, and you know, you see kind of a group of people just kind of, you know, drinking, having some meat and whatnot, and they're just laughing and talking. They some of them seem to be locals. A few of them are just dressed as common folk, and then others seem to be individuals who have gone on the road, possibly mercenaries. A couple of them do have long swords. A few of them, like crossbows and things like that. They're decently armored, but not a lot. They have packs. And then you see the bartender is standing just around, kind of like looked up for you for a second, and then she goes back to just cleaning a glass. What would you like to do?
Yeah, so I'll head straight to the bartender, and ask for just one round, please.
Sorry, you might have to speak up just a little bit.
Sorry. Can I just get one drink, please? Just straight to the bartender.
Can you be more specific? You like a drink? Would you like some water? Would you like some ale? Would you like some Dwarven fire whiskey? I think we've got a bit of that.
The whiskey, please. That'll do me just fine.
Right, that'll be 2 silver. And she reaches back, grabs what looks to be a strange bottle that is an odd marriage of stone and glass. Like the bottom is this kind of stone, and it looks like the glass is like organically growing from it into a bottle. She holds it out and looks and kind of looks at the gets motions for you to look at the label. Yeah.
Yes, of course. Thank you.
Nice. And she pours you kind of a rocks glass full, like not a shot, and she hands it to you. 2 silver.
He places 5 silver down on the table. I was wondering if you might be able to tell me something.
I can tell you lots of things. What do you want to know?
Well, just who in this town might be the appropriate contact for a man looking for information. Information about all sorts of things. People, places. Zan Notley, Perfumed Man, all sorts of things.
And she gets in really, really, really close. Now you listen. If you're with the truth finders, you can get out of my inn right now. And your voice starts raising up a couple of octaves.
No, hold on, miss. I'm not with them. We've heard tell of them just a little bit, but I have no association with that organization. And I promise I mean you no harm. I am only interested in finding out where I can locate this man. I just want to have a conversation.
You want to have a conversation with a perfumed man?
A mutual acquaintance of ours just needed me to deliver a message to him.
Look, we're an inn. You want a drink? Great. You want to get drunk? Great. Look, if you want some young boy or a young man or something, there's a brothel just down the way. It's right by the main kiosk, and she starts kind of pointing. You can go right there. What's it called? Is it called the Perfumed Man? It might be. Yeah, but you can go there if you're really in the mood for a perfumed man.
I think there may have been some sort of confusion.
Look, and she scoops up the 2 silver for the drink, leaves it. Drink your drink and piss off.
He'll pocket 2 of the 3 remaining silver, and just leave a tip of 1 silver, and just say, I thank you greatly for all your assistance. I apologize.
She's already turning her back and walking away.
And he'll hesitate for a moment and pick up the other silver piece, put it back in his pocket, and head back out onto the street to see if he can find out about this.
Sure. As you walk down the street, we're going to cut right over to Baron Sunden's tent. This, as all of you, as you guys turn around and look, you see kind of a very well dressed individual, but more like in robes, kind of like servants' robes or maesters' robes, I guess you think about it. If they were really, really nice, you can tell that it is kind of like a very nice cotton, as opposed to whatever. Like most people are wearing wool. This individual is wearing like a nice cotton robe, and on the inside, you can see kind of like that lustrous sheen of silk. And for many people who would know, as you or Lisa, you guys would know, silk is very hard to come by. The only way you can get silk is in very warm climates. There's a chance that King's Gift at some point might be able to acquire silkworms, but generally all the silk is produced even further south off the continent in a special, or in a large cluster of almost kind of tropical islands known as the Shattered Isles. He kind of comes in, his back is like ramrod straight. Like you could put a level against his back and it would just, that bubble wouldn't move for a second. And he walks in and bows very, kind of very, with a very large flourish. And he crosses his hands as he stands before all of you and says, "Yes, my name is Lord Gaston Vale. It's a pleasure. As the Baron's advisor, I'm more than happy to show you to your rooms." And just as a note, the Baron did invite you all to stay in the keep overnight, provided you guys needed a place to stay. So.
This is after the messenger's been handed over to the appropriate lord?
Yes, it is. Yeah, it's already been the message wasn't even handed over. He wasn't even he was told, he was summoned him, and before he could even leave the tent, he already came in and bowed and introduced himself. The Baron turns and, yes, here he is, my loyal advisor. Lord Vale, would you be so kind as to show these fine individuals to a room? Would you all be sharing one, or would you prefer one on your own?
We'll have our own quarters, if it please.
Yes, of course, of course. Please set them up in the diplomatic wing. And he turns around, gets a squire to finish with his armor. It will be the melee will be in 2 hours. So if you wish to come, please, I would be honored to have you.
Lord Prey, we have more pressing matters than a melee. You should hear what this messenger has to say. And
well, he did read the note, or he did read the letter, and
also her testimony must be heard. We've traveled over long distance through peril for this. I thank you for the rooms, Lord Vale, but for now, I I would wait here. A servant can take me to the quarters. But I would see this messenger speak.
All right. Ostrid, wasn't it? If you have anything more than what this letter has to say, please. I understand that the idea that Duke Jesson Thade is going to take all of Eastshore and hook up with the Emirate of Azaq'Ir, this is a problem. But it is not something that can be solved now. And my son's birthday will not be tarnished because some paltry lord wishes to overstep his bounds. The king will not be too favorable upon this, and if we must make war again, especially against Duke Jesson Thade, it's not something we are terribly fearful over.
Very well, forgive me. I'll see the rooms.
Not a problem at all. Lord Vale, please show them to the rooms, and if there's anything you need, any drink, food, other entertainment, please let me know. Well, please let Lord Vale know, and he will get that for you right away, won't you? And then Lord Vale bows. Yes, of course. Lady and gentlemen, please, this way. And he exits out of the tent. Do you wish to follow him? You're kind of the boss on this one.
And that's what the Lord wants us to do, right? Leave Ostrid with him and go to the rooms? Or take Ostrid with us?
Ostrid is actually going with, and she's staying in a room for her, just as a guest and for all that she's been through, seeing as how she explained to him the entire story and everything else that had happened, and of course the letter. So.
And did we have any other business here other than seeing her over to the appropriate receiver?
I mean, other than that, you guys wanted to track down this Perfumed Man individual. That's pretty much it. I mean, that was the main. I think that was one of the main reasons why you wanted to go to Forgemont in the first place. That you found out that this guy who gathered all these bandits together, or at least these individuals, to start raiding.
And where was it that we caught them at? The name of the place?
You fought them. Originally, you fought them at Kingsgift. Like, they sent a large force.
Yeah, where they said that they had met the Perfumed Man, like at their camp. I just want to know the name of that kind of region.
No worries. So this would be just outside of Forgemont, near Lake Vita.
Okay, I'll ask this Perfumed Man here if he's been to Lake Vita recently.
Lake Vita? No, the wet air does not agree with my humors, unfortunately. I love the mountains.
Can I roll an insight on that?
Yes, of course.
Okay. I believe him. I got a 7 all up.
All right. That's unfortunate. Well, yes, I must admit, when I first heard about the 4 of you, I was very impressed. I've heard that you fought King Thoradin himself. No easy task, to be sure. But I'm also quite surprised that Baron Sunden didn't take care of matters on his own. He's quite an accomplished swordsman. Now, of course, this conversation is happening as you are walking up to the gates. As soon as he walks up to the gates, the 2 guards look at Lord Vale. Now, understand, too, the term Lord is a term used quite loosely. It is not it is like to call someone a lord, can be many things. A lord can be someone of a higher stature. It can also be like an actual unlanded, proper noble.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
So just so everyone knows, and for you folks at home, now you're all caught up. As he continues to walk, I was told that one of your party members was a magic user. Is that true?
We're all magic users.
Ah, fascinating. I myself love to dabble in magic. On my spare time, I test myself and learn spells. Nothing terribly big, nothing powerful, but still very fascinating. Just to play with the very weave of the arcane. I do enjoy it. Yourself.
How could you find time for such? You must be so busy as a loyal steward.
Oh, yes, well, fortunately, I'm also very good at what I do, and the Baron has an army of servants who I basically delegate things to. And now, of course, that assumes that I do nothing, but believe me, there is still plenty to be
I
done.
understand the burdens of delegation. Thankmar will cut into him and say, if you would feel the need to test yourself, I'd be willing, in reference to his magic.
Well, thank you. Thank you. It's nothing. I just... There's a spell that I've been working on, or at least attempting to work on. It's very difficult when you're self-taught. It's the ability to mend broken things. So I've purposefully gone around and started breaking a few things so I could just manipulate and try to fix them. I think I've got it, but yeah, a few broken spoons here and there. Needs to say the cook is not terribly happy with me at this point, but well, what can you do? And he starts walking up this kind of like double kind of Georgian style staircase up in this large keep. He walks down one wing, and as you're walking down, on your left-hand side, you kind of see what looks to be almost like a recess, but it seems to be this like huge circle in stone, and there are dwarven runes and reliefs all around them, and it's kind of all done up in just a very like kind of a strange circular design. Everywhere else is just either smooth cut or added stone blocks, like large, huge stone blocks, probably weighing in excess about 5 to 10 tons. Kind of like is one singular large area of these kind of building up of this wall. You do see this kind of one, and it's about the size. It's about like 4 feet, probably 4 feet in diameter, 4 or 5 feet. Like it's fairly big. This here, it's a door. When the dwarves built Forgemont, this entire place, centuries upon centuries ago, they had an idea that they wished, instead of to be locked in a mountain, to be able to come out and live and do whatever it is that dwarves do. They're very secretive people, But they left this area, this place, this door, they just left it here. Can't open it, can't do anything with it. But one day we're hoping somewhere to open it up and see what's inside. I have a feeling these dwarves, they left here very quickly. They maybe have left a few artifacts, a bit of treasure around as well.
A door without a handle. It might be a prison cell just as easy. Maybe a door that's not meant to be opened.
No,
maybe it's a test.
All doors are meant to be open. After all, sort of curiosity would you have if you just sat there and let the door be closed?
Perhaps it's a lesson of patience, or to forbear what doors we cannot open, I'll say as we move past it.
You're very wise.
I've been in the company of learned men and listened to what they have to say.
Hmm. That I agree with. Sometimes the best course of action is to not speak at all and gain the most information. And
You're a man of pungent scents, if I might say so, Lord Vale.
oh yes, it's all the rage right now. One of the largest things coming down from the Azaq'Ir Emirate is this perfume. It's a mixture of essence of different flowers, and believe me, when you've spent enough time in this town, the last thing you want to smell is another tannery. So it's quite nice, actually.
Pray, I would have some myself and uphold the customs of the lands that I'm in.
Oh, well,
All right, to become a perfumed man, who would I speak to?
well, there are a few haberdasheries in town. I prefer Lockwood and Sons. It's a very nice place. They're perfumers and they sell very nice hats. If you wish to go there, that would be the place that I would think.
Perhaps I shall.
Indeed. Well, here we are, and he kind of stops at like several doors in kind of one line. Please pick a room. They're all rather much the same. They all have an adjoining balcony that can allow you some nice views to the rest of the
Absolutely,
town.
Leopold's quarters there, and mine here, and Ostrad's between the two of us, who would see her protected, even in our Lord's gracious holdfast. She has enemies, this messenger, people who wish to do her harm, and one, if not both of us, should keep vigil over her. These would be appropriate.
Would you like me to post a guard outside her door? And he's not being sarcastic. He's being serious, just in case.
If I think that necessary, I'm sure I can call upon you for that, my lord. My thanks. But for now, Brahm will be enough. He's trusted and worth 5 in battle.
Of course, of course. Please, enjoy, and would you, if you need any food or drink, and he kind of looks around. He sees kind of one servant kind of walking down the hall and just kind of like plunks him and kind of like pushes him. Please let this individual know of anything you desire. And he just... Yes,
good.
Yes,
wine, food, and drink.
Right.
To come up and scour our mail and see to our rooms.
Oh, yeah. Drink, food,
quick,
mail.
Go.
Right. And he kind of takes off, kind of in a quick shuffle. Benjamin, as you kind of walk out of the inn, you see that there's quite a throng of people. One of the jousts had just finished. A lot of people are still talking about it very excitedly. Young children are kind of waving pennants, just in the colors of their kind of like their favorite knight. A lot of them are kind of running around and laughing and giggling. A lot of just a very large group of people, and with this large group of people, quite a few like kind of temporary quick kiosks, like some individuals even so far as just dragging wagons out and selling like food and drink and other things like that for people who need it. As you kind of walk out, you see that one of the victorious knights, who kind of like is just kind of just slowly kind of cantering down the kind of cobblestone streets, you notice as someone very familiar to you. He is Duke Jessen Thade. His large kind of like almost like wedge kind of shaped armor, this huge like kind of kite shield at his side, and not holding a lance, but rather his trusty kind of like bastard sword, kind of like tucked into the side of the saddle. And as he walks and he kind of waves to everyone, you just see a large group of them kind of headed towards the kind of the town square where all the market district would be.
Is he coming? He's not coming my way then. So he's with.
No, he's kind of like as you walk out and look, he's riding perpendicular to you. And you see a few other individuals, like some of his retainers. He's got two squires, kind of on his like rear, but like or his rear flanks. You also see at one point who Ostrid had pointed out, Sir Salem Keeling, riding kind of like at the kind of near the back.
Oh yeah, what did she point him out as? I'm blanking on that.
The man who tried to kill her.
Okay.
Yeah, she pointed him out as like because she had regaled the whole story to you, and she's like, that's the guy who who's a big old dick.
Okay, cool. I mean, not cool, but cool.
Hey, could be cool.
All right. So seeing this, my focus has momentarily been diverted because, while this brothel sounds like it may be an interesting place to look for leads, it seems that this might be something more interesting or more important. So, Benjamin, is there any sort of like alleyway or anything like a place that I could duck behind something like a bush even?
As far as the streets are basically like it's just buildings, cobblestone, and maybe like 3 inches or 2 inches of grass, kind of like as like kind of borders to the like kind of to the streets. The like you can kind of like hide behind buildings or try to kind of like corner up against one, following them. But there's
no, go ahead.
I was going to say there's such a large group of people who are cheering and everything else that it's like when you're at like Oscar night and you're trying to like wave down your favorite celebrity and they're literally just okay. So I mean, they're not noticing you in particular.
Yeah. Perfect. That's exactly what I was thinking. So I'll just kind of begin to walk through the crowd. And then just very quietly, Benjamin whispers a word, and his visage changes to, we'll say, a youngish man in his like late 20s, with like blonde hair and sort of lower class, but like upper lower class clothing.
Oh, I see. So spun tunic, not rough spun tunic.
Exactly.
I gotcha. Exactly. Okay.
Yes. Like not begging for food, but definitely working for it.
Gotcha.
And then start to just sort of trail this party of Jesson Thade and his all of his retainers, trying to find out if they might have something to do with, because he kind of just had this momentary realization as he saw them that it would make sense for them to have some sort of grudge against the people of King's Gift and the rulers in particular. So
yeah, I would say he's not your biggest fan right now.
I mean, he doesn't love us.
No.
So yeah, so I'm gonna go ahead and just start to kind of, as discreetly as possible, while disguised self, follow him.
All right. Now, do you change your face like as you're walking through the crowd?
Yes.
Okay.
I'll just kind of like, head down, face in both hands, like, and then just come back up, looking different.
Sure.
Different clothing. Like the clothing just kind of shimmers as he nudges through a couple different people.
As you start walking through the crowds, and kind of pushing your way along, kind of walking in perpendicular, well, in parallel with the group, but not noticeable. Actually, I'll tell you what. Roll me a stealth check. Just don't roll a 1.
Oh, I rolled a 4. So, and my stealth is probably pretty high.
Yeah, and it's not a 1. So
Not a lot.
not a problem. Just a few of the retainers just are, kind of look in your direction for a moment. And everyone else is just kind of waving. And so they just, kind of waving to kids. You see them, they have like apples and other like little bits of fruit, and they're giving them to kids and stuff and whatnot. As you walk, though, you hear a voice, like as if this person is just like going right up to your ear and speaking, even through the din, the cheering and the talking and just the standard crowd noise. It's a woman's voice, and you hear her. I think I liked you better when you were dark of hair. What would you like to do?
His first instinct is to freeze, but he immediately pushes through that and keeps moving, trying to keep pace. There's a small stutter in his step, but he tries to act as though he hasn't heard anything. And for a brief moment, as he considers what he knows of magic, he then begins to think very hard, but not say out loud, "Who are you and why are you in my head?"
And she said, I'm not in your head. I'm right behind you. And she just kind of gently blows in your ear. And you can feel it, you can feel it. So, I mean, it's not...
He'll turn fully expecting to be face-to-face with whoever is speaking to him and apparently reading his mind.
You turn around and you see kind of like a large, kind of heavy-set, jowly guy sitting there. Well, can I help you?
And using that, I love this actor feat. He just uses like one of the younger people voices. He says, "Oh, nothing, sir. Nothing, sir," and just turns and continues on. All right, very funny. Just thinking very hard in his head. Very funny. Now seriously, who are you? Why are you in my head? The fuck is going on?
So you're thinking this. You're not actually saying it.
Yeah.
So as you keep walking forward, I'm assuming you're still following them.
Mm-hmm.
You hear once again the voice behind your ear. I have a riddle for you. Would you like to hear a riddle?
Oh, I do love myself a riddle.
Good. When is a lord not a lord?
When is a lad?
A lord.
No, I know.
Oh. Now, do you say that or do you think it?
Yeah, he'll just say out loud in his normal voice, "A lad?" Just thinking out loud.
No. And then you get that kind of breathy whisper, when he has no money. And at that point, you feel a tug, and you feel that your coin purse has just been like cut.
He reaches to his side to feel it, and for a moment his face sort of drops, but then he gets this kind of creeping smile, and he just thinks very hard. Very well done, miss. I hope we'll be meeting again under more fortunate circumstances.
You hear a shrill whistle behind you, and you see the woman standing there, kind of like her hair is cut very kind of short, almost boyish, like not this short, but that short, like just you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Kind of a pixie cut, I guess. And she looks at you and winks, and she kind of holds up your purse and kind of dangles it. You coming? And she smiles and she starts running in the opposite direction.
As soon as she's dangling it, I want to try to use my invisible mage hand to just grab the purse. Is she within 30 feet of me?
No, she's
Okay. Oh,
she's a fair bit back. She's like standing, like she's the way she's standing there, and the way the crowd is, like you can make her out.
All right. Yeah, I'm gonna start pushing my way through the crowd towards her.
All right.
This seems intriguing, and I can always figure out where Justin Thade went. He seems like a man of enough stature that I'll be able to figure out his whereabouts.
Oh yeah, I would say so. All right. Well then, what we're gonna do right now is we're just gonna take a quick break. Actually, we're gonna roll initiative first because that's kind of an important thing. Because we're gonna do a chase scene. And then when we come back, we're gonna see if you can catch this young lady and get your money back.
Nat freaking 20, by the way.
Son of a bitch.
Mm-hmm.
Son of a bitch.
Right on my mouse pad too.
Well, looks like you're definitely gonna be going first. So
Dex is my highest stat as well.
Oh well, there you go then. Yeah, can't argue with that. All right, so what we'll do, we'll be right back. If you guys want to plug anything, feel free to plug anything, and just be back in like 5 or 6 minutes.
Sounds good.
All right.
Nothing to plug here.
Okay, now right onto the chase scene. The young lady takes off fast, and you're trying to struggle to keep moving now that you're moving through the crowd, but she doesn't seem to have very much difficulty kind of moving in and out around people. You guys so far are 40 feet away from each other, and as you're going to go first. Do you want to try and do something to slow her down, or are you going to try and bolt up and kind of do kind of a double move?
I think I am currently just going to go for speed because I think she's too wily to be put off by anything I throw at her.
Gotcha.
All
right.
Straight.
So as you try moving straight, you are having a difficult bit of time, but you're starting to gain. You start to gain on her because you're just trying to push through people and trying to move out. All the excuse me, pardon me, excuse me, pardon me. Kind of a thing. You actually managed to gain even through this large crowd of people about 20 feet. So you gained up the speed. For her, she runs. And you see what looks to be like an individual pulling a cart. This kind of burly fellow pulling a cart load full of goods, trying to go in through the crowds to weave through on his way to wherever. She runs up and she attempts to kind of hop up, hand plant over top, and kind of leap over top of this individual. And she does make it. She just grabs one, and you just see her sail through the air. And as she sails through the air, just in a slow motion, she actually tussles his hair a bit and smiles as she kind of weaves over, flips, and then just keeps on running. And she manages to gain, or at least to add another 20 feet. At this point in time, you guys are basically right back where you originally started at the beginning of this session. With close that a bit. Yeah. At the beginning of the session, where you were kind of at that fountain with the two statues and right in front of the keep. So as you're running up, now you are kind of facing this guy who's kind of looking behind, and this cart's kind of in your way. So you're gonna try and do the same thing where you do some parkour, or are you gonna try and run around?
How high are the wheels on this cart? How low is the bottom of this cart? Is it like a cart for riding or a cart for sitting on?
It's basically like a really big honking wheelbarrow. So it's kind of 4-foot wheels. The actual body of the cart kind of sits in the middle-ish of it. There's only 2 wheels, and he's basically just lifting it and kind of pushing it.
All right. I'd like to attempt a baseball slide underneath it.
Oh, damn. All right.
Dry out, right?
What's that?
It's dry out, right?
It is. It is. Not ignoring the the intermittent droplets of horse shit, but you got this. You got this.
Prestidigitation takes care of that.
That's the spirit. That's the D&D spirit.
There's no kind of horse shit some magic can't take care of.
That's why I love this game. Also, on a side note, everybody, happy Gygax Day. So, I'm going to need you to make me an acrobatics check as you attempt to slide underneath the cart and the individual.
That is only a 10.
So as you as you run and kind of slide under, unfortunately, you didn't gauge that the individual's legs are right there. You end up kind of knocking into him, and he kind of like lurches forward, hits the cart, and the cart kind of like angles downward. So for a moment, you're kind of stuck until you either push him out of, like, try to like go under his legs, or try to upend the cart, or go around, or do whatever you got to do.
Yeah, I'll just be attempting to start scrambling onwards.
Yeah, and as you kind of push him, you actually kind of like scramble underneath him. You take his legs out, and he actually goes forward, and then the whole cart just teeter-totters forward, spilling out vegetables and other assorted goods. He kind of like tumbles forward, and you just hear him shouting obscenities as you get up. You've lost 10 feet as she moves ahead, so she's now ahead of you by 50 feet.
So I'll just yell, "Sorry, my lord," and just keep running.
You bastard! And as you keep running forward, you notice now that she's starting to kind of move to the left, and she's moving into the forest where all the kind of like these tall buildings are kicking out. And now that you're kind of getting closer to just to have an idea as to what it's going on, you can actually start to see kind of some pennants from the tops of some of these buildings, and the pennants are various religious symbols. You've gone in, like she seems to have gone into the kind of temple district of Forgemont.
You cut out there at the very end. You said temple district.
Oh, the temple district of Forgemont. So the
okay, I was just those two words. Okay, yeah. Well, I want to continue following her. I kind of want to wait until she's a little more separated from people. So this is actually a good thing for me. So I'm going to keep following her into the woods until we get to a point that seems more isolated, or into this temple district that seems more isolated.
Sure. As you go onto the grounds of this area, you see a beautiful, just beautiful manicured lawn. The trees are kept really nice. Like someone obviously goes around and prunes them. They look really nice. And as you kind of go from kind of like one area to another, you begin to see temples to all of the good gods. So, you see Avandra's like kind of 3 waves symbols. You see Bahamut's dragon, like kind of like the dragon face pointed left. You even see, interestingly enough, you see cords. And cords is interesting because it's not an actual pennant. You actually just see a long sword, or a great sword, kind of at the top of this temple, and it's held in by like what looks to be like a mailed fist of a giant, with a large lightning bolt kind of through it. You also see Melora's and Palor's, and I think that's pretty much it. So you just see those temples just kind of like laid out in different areas. You see a few priests walking by, like priests of different gods, but they're just walking and talking with each other and laughing. Obviously these individuals know each other in some fashion or another. You see this woman kind of run in between 2 priests, kind of like side leap in between the 2, and you just hear one of them, "Damn it, woman, not again!" And he kind of stumbles backwards and kind of falls onto the grass. The other priest kind of like rushing over to help him up. And so now it's your turn as part of this chase.
I was muted. She's 50 feet away from me at this point, right?
Yes, she is run through, and yeah, she's still around 50 feet.
How far past those priests is she?
At this point, she just moved past them, and you're just coming in. She just moved past them. You're just coming in, and you kind of see one of the many pathways that kind of intersect all the different temples. All these temples are all like large, made of stone, very nice. As temples are wont to do.
Okay. While still moving forward as quickly as possible, he's going to start preparing his mind to cast another spell, but a more serious one this time. And I think I'm gonna have to hold it, and because he doesn't want to put out the priests, and it seems like they may not get mad at him if he does this. Plus, he's in disguise anyway, so it doesn't really matter. He can do whatever he wants. And he'll start to prepare a sleep spell to hurl at this thing when it seems like she's cleared enough space that he can make that. It's a 20 all creatures within 20 feet, so I want to make sure that there's no one within about 20 feet of her, and then just center it on her.
Okay. Just really quick though, just want to have a look at disguise self. There it is.
1 hour.
Okay. Yeah, so it's 1 hour, and it is not concentration. That was the main thing I was looking for.
Oh yeah, sleep isn't either.
Nice. So you, as you run, you kind of like make it past the priests, and you hear him grumbling about this woman. Damn it, she always does this, always running, and he gets up, and he seems to be a bit older of a fellow, and he starts walking on through with this other priest, and the other priest is just kind of like he's shrugging his shoulders and kind of shaking his head, and as they just go walking in through kind of like this park kind of area. For now, you guys are kind of alone with her running down, and you see her now. She seems to be getting towards the one of the temples. You can't quite make out the pennant on top at the moment, but she's definitely going for one of them.
Perfect. Well, yeah. So I'm just gonna loose that spell whenever I'm able now.
Okay. And it's sleep, right?
Yep.
There it is.
So I'm just hoping that she has few enough hit points that this will work. Plus,
all right.
I have
roll 5d8.
All right, so I'm using an app, which normally screws me, but I got 25. It's not
nice.
Not bad.
Nice. So as you're running, and you kind of like loose this spell at her, and you see for a moment she kind of begins to slow down and falter. And then she kind of stops for just a moment and turns around and looks and smiles. And you see her, she is at the very front doors of the Temple of Ioun. And she breathes and says, "Sleep spell. Nice. But unfortunately, looks like I won. Think I get to keep this then. Whew. It's a good run."
I suppose if I'm letting you have my money, you may as well answer me a few questions. Nothing hostile, I promise. You have clearly won. Obviously, this temple offers you some sort of safety. I'm no fool. I can read your signals.
No, it's not like that. Come on in. And she kind of like backhands the latch on the door and kind of opens it. Come on. And she walks in.
he'll right before walking, like right as he gets to the door, he'll shift back out of his or dismiss his disguised self, shift back to his regular appearance, clean all of the muck off of him from sliding under that cart and climbing under the guy's feet, and sort of straighten his lapel, and make sure his hair is nice and straight, and then walk in.
I was really hoping you were going to forget that.
Nope. No way. Not before going into a place. I'm civilized.
I'm one of them civilized thieves. And so as you straighten yourself out, you walk in, and now we're just going to hop back right over to Thankmar. Thankmar, the servant who was unwittingly put in charge of looking over you guys, had come up with the requisite food and drink. He had brought wine, and not the cheap crap. Like, he brought actually like quite decent wine. Also a change of linen, just in case. He also brought he actually took all of your mail, like took all of your armor, and said that he would go and get this cleaned and be ready for you as soon as possible. And he asked, is there anything else that you need? Anything at all?
No, thank you.
Yes, my lord. And he turns around and, with all of the armor, turns around and goes to get it cleaned. Ostrid, kind of, it's Ostrid, Leopold, and yourself. The kind of, you guys have all congregated into one room for just one moment, and Ostrid looks at you and says, "What do you think? Was it right to come here?"
Yes, but probably not smart. There might be people here who'll try and kill you.
No. Because I haven't had that already.
Well, it's part of you doing your duty. You're sworn messenger of the king. You're about his business.
I know. I just wish that I should have kept that letter. Should have kept it. And she kind of looks, kind of gives a sideways glance up to Leopold.
Why did you give it to him? Just for the king's own hand.
And she points at Leopold. He told me that the Baron is the king's man. So I listened. I gave it to him. And the Baron wanted it. I didn't want to at first, but what can I do? I'm just a messenger.
What will you do now?
I don't know. I don't know where I will go. I guess back to Middenheim. But there's probably nothing for me there.
You should go and tell the king of what's happened. Give your testimony against whoever set down to kill you and your people.
Yes. I have heard that the king is normally invited to all of these, but he never actually goes. More often, he sends someone. I hope that he sends someone good. Maybe I can talk to them.
You shouldn't trust anyone. You're king's messenger, not a steward's or a vizier's or a baron's.
I guess that's true.
Redeem yourself. Get word to the king.
I should. I wouldn't mind staying one night here, though. It's nice here. And more than what I'm used to. A bed made of straw, hopefully no fleas, versus this, a feather bed.
Both beds are better than the ones that your companions now lie in. And it may be comfortable here, though it's not safe.
True. Do you think I should leave now?
I'm no one to command a king's messenger.
You are a lord, and I am... I guess. But then your advice, then.
Take a horse and flee before anyone can know. The melee will be soon, in an hour or so. People will be clamoured thick about. There you can make your leave.
Good call. But in the meantime, and she kind of reaches over to this kind of large platter of meats and cheeses and breads and drink. I'm at least going to get something to eat. Because one can only live on rations and trail mix for so long.
Very good, lady. And he'll say to Brahm, like, look over her and keep her safe. Put her life in your hands. I'm going to go find Benjamin and see if we can narrow down these perfumed men, he'll say with a sneer, of this place. And leave the quarters after taking what food and drink he'll need. Go about his business.
I'm going to try and do this, but I'm going to be terrible at it.
Lionel.
No. Yeah, I was going to say, I'm going to try this. By the way,
yes, my lord. I'll keep her safe.
Yeah. Yes, my lord.
None may harm her.
I will make sure that nothing comes to harm. She will not be touched. I swear this by the oath of the Raven Queen. So
not bad.
Thank you. Well, you know. Mind you, I've been playing the same campaign with Lionel for over a year and a half, 2 years. So you get to know the guy. So she sits and eats, and he stands over watch as you leave and walk through the keep. Benjamin, as you walk in, it almost seems like you're not in a temple. There are bookshelves. And to say that there are bookshelves is like the very epitome of an understatement. There are bookshelves everywhere. Every single spot where there could be a wall, there is a shelf of books. And the wind, as the door opens as you walk through, even rattles some of the chains on the books, as all these books are like chained to the cases. You see them all throughout this place. Anything, you even see books stacked on the floor, and most of them are like kind of chained to each other. So if someone were to try and like pick up a book and run out with it, they just be like a trail of books just like flapping on the ground. You see a few individuals kind of pulling books out, opening them, kind of dusting the pages, cleaning them, setting them back very gently. You see a few other what seems to be priests to be more like, kind of like looking at the books and actually reading them. A few of them are unlocking the chains from them, the locks, and like kind of pulling the books out and like nodding and just, kind of going off and to, assumed to be reading them. And this young woman is kind of standing there. She's looking at you, and then she kind of looks back and looks around and kind of sees who she's looking for and kind of points. And she kind of like does this like very animated, come hither kind of action. And you see this very old individual who seems to be kind of like better adorned than some of the other priests. Some of these other priests are kind of wearing very simple, kind of rough spun, grayish blue tunics. But this individual is wearing kind of like a slightly more regal blue robe with kind of what looks to be kind of like a I can't remember. I don't know what it's called in Catholic, but when it's kind of like just like that one big long thick strip that kind of like goes over top. You know what I'm talking about, right?
I know what you're talking about. I don't know what it's called.
Yeah, usually they kiss it and then they put it over top. Anyway, it's something very much similar to that, but there are like symbols running down them of a kind of an eye, kind of like crooked over, and you know this symbol well. Better know the symbol well. Do you?
I'm sorry, that cut out for me for just a second. And then
it's basically an eye with kind of like a kind of crook over top and kind of like a staff that goes down.
Ah, yes. That symbol, which I remember super well.
That's awful. You're not even trying.
I was looking through my notes, and apparently I did
I'll tell you what. Make me a religion check. Make me a religion check right now.
Oh, God. Oh, no. First, I had the first nat 20 of the game, and now I have the first nat 1 of the game.
Mother of God. You can't even, you know what? It's on the tip of your tongue, but you just can't think of it. You know it starts with something, a letter, and it ends with another letter, but you just can't think of it. This old individual comes up to you and says, "Oh, hello, Tess. Who is this you brought towards me? Hello, I am head priest Jesper Wright of the Temple of Ioun. Ioun's blessings upon you, of course. May the knowledge and light of knowledge, so on and so forth. How may I help you?"
Well, I suppose if knowledge is the thing that you offer, this might be the right place for me.
Oh, I see. What's your name, young man?
Benjamin Dupont. Pleasure to meet you. And he'll hold out his hand very cordially.
He kind of holds his. He takes your hand and kind of shakes it pretty well, and he says, "Benjamin Dupont. Do we know Benjamin Dupont, Tess?" And Tess looks back at him and to you, and she kind of whispers into his ear, "Oh, yes, young man." And he seems to be a bit more. It feels like he seems to be a bit more spry. "Young man, come with me. We have much to discuss." And he kind of shuffles off fairly quickly.
I'll follow along eagerly, and almost like he's almost excited by the fact that they know things about him. Like this is the sort of thing that he was always trying to get plugged into, like the sort of network he always wanted, because he's never been a criminal for criminality's sake. It was always more for the acquisition of information.
Yeah. Tess kind of like this young woman, kind of like takes your arm and begins to walk. And as you turn back and look at her, you notice that she has a tattoo, kind of like right on her ear, like right behind her ear. And you notice that it is very similar to an item that was left for you in your room.
And I'll think back to that. Oh, of course. Knowledge is truth, is it not?
It sure is.
You folks seem to have quite a reputation around town. I didn't even mention your name, and somebody almost kicked me out of their establishment because they thought I had a connection to you.
Oh, I'm sorry. Were you part of us? Because last thing I checked, you really didn't seem to have much of an interest. We sent one of our we sent one of our light bringers to give you that token. Is it here?
Okay, so I feel terrible, but can you remind me what that note said? Because all I wrote down apparently was found a note from the Truth Finders. So I've been adding to those notes.
So no worries.
While.
So no worries. They gave you not only a note, but they also gave you kind of like a simple leather thong, and on it was a symbol of Ioun. But it's a little bit different. You see, it's been altered just so slightly. And it is the symbol of the Truth Finders. So the Truth Finders, if you go by with what like kind of lowly individuals kind of talk amongst themselves, that they're spies and they think that they're assassins, and the Truth Finders are like, they have a superstition that if the Truth Finders start looking into you and into your past,
okay, this is all coming back to me now.
Yeah, you're cursed. Like they think that like the Truth Finders kind of like are like bad mojo, you know, like total bad juju.
Right. Okay. I remember this because Benjamin was immediately excited as soon as he learned about this and that they were interested in him. So he's like, now, listen, I had no intention of rejecting your advances. I simply did not know how to go about contacting you, but apparently we have succeeded in coming into contact, and so I think we may be able to work together just fine. I have to say, from what I've heard of you people, I admire the way you work.
Oh, yeah? Oh, well then. I mean, did you know that we had one of our own there with you? We still have one of our own with you this entire time. And
he has a big smile on his face at this point. And who would that be? I did not know that any of my companions were such capable actors, and deception never seemed their forte. I'm amazed.
No. It's one of your gods is one of our people.
Wait, don't tell me. It's oh, well, no, it couldn't be. It couldn't be Veritas. Malzer? It couldn't be. It's not Malzer, is it?
No, it's not Malzer.
Good. I was going to say, if that man had me fooled that he was anything more than a loyal and rather simple man, then I would have to question my entire perception of reality.
No, you were right the first time. It's Veritas.
Of
Veritas
course,
Quinn.
Veritas.
Right, yeah. I don't know why we are inducting you into our order. That's fine. It's fine. Anyway, here we are. And the priest, Jesper, unlocks the door and kind of opens it up. Yes, come in, please. Have a seat. And it's kind of like a bit of like an office / this person's dormitory. Even as a head priest, it's very sparse, very Spartan.
I love what you've done with the place.
As many priests do enjoy all the trappings of nobility, I prefer that all of my wealth or any sort of money goes back into acquiring knowledge. Books, my friend, books. That is the important thing. I mean, one can feast upon quail and boar and even owlbear for some reason, but when one feeds the mind, one is truly satiated. It's true. Please have a seat. And he kind of motions to a simple but very sturdy chair.
This almost childlike grin hasn't left his face, and he sits down in the chair very quickly upon being instructed to.
So the priest sits down. My name is Veracitor Jesper Wright. Veracitor is my truth finder ranking. There are many rankings within, and we understand that right now you and your friends are on the cusp of something very large. Very large.
And just what might that be?
Well, you're here to look into whatever it was that young lady carried. A letter of sorts. I assume it probably has something to do with the arranged marriages of Duke Jesson Thade. Honestly, you think he'd try and keep that more quiet? Terrible.
Arranged marriages, you say?
Well, yes. He's attempting to strengthen his bond with the Emirate of Azaq'Ir. So the heir of the entire emirate is marrying one of his children, and the heir apparent is marrying the other. That way, it doesn't matter which one will inherit both, and then the emirate will become very powerful, you see. Personally, I don't really understand it, but here's where things get very interesting. Thankmar, as you exit out of the keep, you're kind of met with a bit of calamity. You see a few people kind of like pushed. You see a few people pushed out of the way, kind of on the ground. You see one person trying to help a poor guy who's kind of like on an angle on his wagon. On the ground. He's trying to like get up, but every time he tries to get up, the wagon keeps like flipping to one end and then flipping back again, and people are trying to help him out. There's like produce crushed just everywhere, and it's just an absolute mess.
I'll try and sidestep it and move around and not draw any attention to myself.
All right. Now, not knowing which way that they went to, where are you going to go?
To the end, finer quality ones.
All right. Now, as where you're standing, you see the fountain. You do see a couple of inns that look, again, very Super 8. I don't know the Australian equivalent of, that cheap hotel chain or motel chain. Needless to say, the places don't look good. They definitely look like they've been well used. They're sick kind of in the corners of some of the doors. More people are kind of filing in and out. The kind of throng of people are kind of headed towards I guess as you're standing, because if you're facing the gates, it'll be to your left. You'll see the throng of people. You see like a lot more taller buildings over there.
Yeah, that's where I'll head then. The better places.
So as you head in that direction, you see you walk over to like kind of just this huge, kind of like if you took a Costco and you gutted it and you put like 50 or 60 like little wagon kiosks all in a giant circle with some, a few openings to walk in and out of. That's basically the size of this kind of like main square. Huge area. And you see shops and inns and taverns kind of lined all around it. You see like a bunch of people hawking wares. You see a few, you see some dwarves. You even see an elf or two, even though, of what had happened not just a week and a half prior. You see lots of individuals selling wares. Again, shops are open. People are, kind of moving in and out. You do spot kind of what seems to be kind of a nicer inn. And the reason why you kind of notice that it's a nicer inn is that people generally people aren't walking in and out of it. It's not, there's not a lot of like kind of low class individuals kind of going in. It's very, it's very nice, beautiful stained leaded glass, kind of in this very nice diamond pattern, like kind of in the front, large oaken doors, this beautiful stone, kind of like a stone small half retaining wall, and you just kind of see it. There's a nice, a very beautiful wooden like hanging placard made out of dark wood, which is very, very rare, and you see it etched beautifully across this placard. It says the Crown and Boar, and you see like kind of a very nice stylized boar with a crown on its head, and yeah, that's basically what you see.
Good place as any to start. I'll go in there first and kind of look around for Benjamin without asking for him. I'll only spend like a time drinking like one mug before I'll move to the next establishment.
Sure. As you walk in, there's you see kind of a few individuals dressed rather nicely, and you walk up to the bartender. You order an ale, I assume, or a lager, something of a beer. So as you're standing there drinking, bartender says, the bartender looks at you and says, "There be anything else? Do you need any food or?"
No, thanks.
Of course, of course. Strangely enough, we don't get many sellswords in here, judging by the kind of armor and everything else. I assume at this point, like, you would have returned with the armor. You guys would have donned it. So.
Okay, yeah, whatever works. I would wear the armor if I have it, but if not, just wear my regular garb. I'll say, thanks for the drink.
I wish you well. If you're competing, good luck in the melee or the joust. And he turns around and goes back cleaning, goes back to helping some other folks. As you leave that one, right beside it, you see a nicer... It looks like a tavern, or it could be an inn. You're not certain. It's kind of a very, like...
Kind of like Benjamin's in King's Gift. I'll think and head towards it.
Sure. As you walk in, there is a placard over top, it's a caricature, like not a character, but a caricature of a nobleman, and it seems to be taking the piss out of noblemen in general. His nose is very sharp and kind of upturned a bit, and he's kind of like, his head is up. His chin is just like extremely pronounced, almost like a jester. But he's wearing kind of like a very small, like, golden band across his head, and you see what looks to be kind of wavy lines, and you see like the Perfumed Man in like this purple, which is very hard to come by, this kind of purplish lilac paint across the top.
That's too intriguing not to follow up. I'll move in swiftly.
Sure. As soon as you walk in, like right in front of the door are these like large, like kind of sheer silk curtains, and you can like kind of just see through it, but not really. And as you push your way through it, you see this young man standing kind of like at the front. His arms, are kind of like folded behind him, and he's standing kind of, if you're ever in the military, standing at ease. And as soon as you come in, he kind of like rights himself. "Good day, sir. Welcome to the Perfumed Man. I hope that your stay here is everything you desire. What may I get for you, sir?"
Tall glass or horn of ale.
Ale, sir. Would you prefer a wine?
Would you recommend it?
We do have a. If you have the coin, we do have a very rare Shattered Isles Red. Came right from Seaforth.
What about Dwarven Whiskey?
Yes. Yes, you are certainly someone with expensive tastes, my lord, and it is an honor. And you notice his demeanor completely changes very quickly, and he bows. I shall get one for you right away, my lord. And he kind of rushes off. He comes back very quickly with
Is the bottle that he's holding, is like the wax and or cork seal on it broken, like as it's been used?
No, it is not. And not only that, but this one now, as I had described it for Benjamin, when he had there was the stone one. This one here is different. This looks like a marriage between silver and glass, and the glass is like kind of like this smoky gray. So it really makes the liquid inside look dark, like almost ebony. Would this be to your liking? And you see, it says like Forge Belly's Private Reserve, and you don't. I mean, I imagine you probably don't. Like, you're not a sommelier, but at the same time, this looks like a very expensive bottle.
No, just the common Dwarven Whiskey is fine. If you've none of it, then that wine you mentioned.
Of course. And he goes back, and he comes back with the exact same looking bottle that I described before, stone married with glass. He pours one, and he hands you a rocks glass. Will you be requiring any entertainment for this evening? Or shall I direct you to our tavern area?
Of course. Take me to the tavern area.
Of course. And he walks. And as you go in, you see quite a few kind of well-dressed, more patrician-style individuals, definitely merchants. A few of them like talking shop. You see some of them huddled kind of together and speaking in low tones. You see, there's a few that are obviously boisterously drunk, laughing and talking. It's two humans and a dwarf just howling, and they're joking around. You see one elf sitting by himself, holding what looks to be a goblet of some type of liquid, and just drinking on his own. And of course, you also see the bartender at the bar.
Yeah, I'll move about the place and like slowly consume the drink, and if I can't see Benjamin in there, I'll make my way out.
All right, which is funny because it's probably killing Austin. It's like, but you were there. As you move around the bar, as you walk around, kind of savoring this beverage, which is absolutely lovely. You get this kind of like slight bit of like smoke. It's like smoked paprika with just this like hint of black currant and anise. So like this like black licorice, black currant. It's just this, like really like potent, very very fine drink. And I mean, in the back of your mind, it's gonna take a little DM thing there, but you kind of wonder what the silver tastes like. The elf kind of like eyes you as you're walking by, like just kind of like stares at you, waiting as you move kind of along. If you make eye contact with him, he just nods his head and goes back to his drink, not seeing Benjamin at all. What would you like to do?
Yeah, if I can find no sign of him, I'll move on.
All right. As you leave, we're going to switch right back to Benjamin. Now, The interesting thing is, wait, what was I talking about again? Don't remember. Tess, what was I speaking of again? Do you remember Benjamin? What was it?
I've begun to ask about the Perfumed Man.
Ah, yes. Perfumed Man. Perfumed Man. What you must know is 3 things. There are 2 perfumed men. One of them is a criminal in the underworld. He apparently does odd jobs, mostly for the Order of the Wilted Rose. Mostly. And sometimes for the Silent Step. He's really more of a gun for hire. Sword for hire. Forget I said gun.
What is a
Don't even worry about it.
You have knowledge far beyond my own.
Yeah, no, it's okay.
I'll question you.
Shut up. The second thing you must know is this. The other perfumed man is obviously the advisor to the Baron. But the advisor to the Baron has a lord which he serves and a master. Now,
do you mean what I think you might, what you mean?
Now, the big question I must ask you, as I've been told to ask you, should we ever meet, are you a member of the Truth Finders? Or must we kill you now?
Well,
he's looking at you totally stone-faced, just staring at you.
I have to say, this is an interesting way to make an offer, but the good news is, ever since I learned what you people do, I have been fascinated by your organization, and I would be honored to call myself count myself among your number.
Well, wonderful. See, told you we weren't gonna have to kill him. And Tess just kind of rolls her eyes and smiles. Good. Well then, congratulations, our newest seeker of the Truth Finders. Now, the great axiom, our glorious leader, will not be able to be here to, see you and congratulate you and go through all the motions, and it's all very boring, to be perfectly honest.
I was never one to stand on pomp and circumstance.
Indeed. Although, when it comes down to it, I prefer pomp to circumstance, but that's besides the point. Now, as a truth finder, we will call upon you for information about certain things and certain individuals. It may seem completely nonsense. It may seem like we are asking for frivolous things, but no, not to question the truth finders, as we have a purpose for everything.
There are many gears within a clock. You do not see these gears turning, and seeing one turning without the clock face would appear wheels turning in the dark. I understand.
Precisely. Good, I'm glad that you see it my way. Now, here, and he kind of goes, like he takes his hand and he kind of reaches it up to the side of your head. Kind of like puts his hand like kind of right here. Do you allow him to do that, or you kind of shrink away, or?
He says, as his hand goes up, I must ask one question about the mark. Is it something I can I can conceal easily. I believe I will be of most use to you and to our organization if I am unrecognizably associated, if you understand my meaning.
Mark. Oh, you mean like, oh, no. I was getting, there's some dirt behind your ear, and he kind of rubs your ear and gets like a little bit of crap on the back of your ear.
I thought
No.
about all that. I was sliding under a card earlier. It was
I see.
she can tell you about it later.
We probably already know about it. It's fine. No, you've already been mocked, and he grabs your arm and he pulls up your sleeve up to your elbow, and you see kind of a small mark, just a small symbol on your arm. Oh, yes, it is. But good. Now that you'll remember, there'll be a lot of things that we will ask of you. Do not disappoint.
I mean, I assume your organization seems like one that would know of my current situation and my station.
Yes, well, you weren't a very good thief, but at least you'll be a very good truth finder. I have a good feeling about you.
But I think I'm going to be a very good innkeeper. And an innkeeper is often a truth finder.
Very true. Very true. Most of the innkeepers in all of Althera belong to us, some form or another.
Always the first people I go to when I reach a new city.
Good. One thing we do want you to do, though. You seem to have the ear of the Baron. Find out more about this individual that calls himself his advisor, Lord. What was his name again? Tess kind of looks over him. Lord Gaston Vale. Right. Yes, Lord Gaston Vale. Find out more about him. We need to know what his plans are. Strangely enough, he said he has come from a lineage of nobility, but I've never seen it. We've never heard of it, and we've done our fact-checking, and he doesn't seem to exist before he became this Baron's advisor. So look into him. Find out what's going on.
As you wish, Veracity.
Good.
I believe this will be a very fruitful partnership.
Well, I'm very glad to hear. Tess, show him out. I need a nap. And Tess kind of stands up off the bed and smiles. And, well, come on, then, Seeker. And she kind of leads you out of the room. And
as soon as we exit the door, he'll just turn to her and, what is your rank? What should I call you?
I wouldn't worry about me.
Oh.
But if it's that much to you, I am Lightbringer Tess.
Lightbringer? And how does one achieve that illustrious sounding title?
Well, you need to be better than a Seeker, but not quite as good as a Veracitor.
Fair enough. So tell me, is my purse considered a donation to the organization, or will I be leaving with my funds intact?
Well, you mean that one right there? And she points to your belt, and it's already there.
He smiles as he pats it. I will not insult you by counting it. I thank you greatly for the introduction, and I hope our paths cross again. And he'll kind of bow to her and start moving a little quicker towards the exit.
And before he leaves, she says, know this. The balance between knowledge and fate is razor thin. Consider that. And she kind of like kind of like turns on her heels and kind of walks back, like kind of deeper into the temple. So now
he lingers for just a moment at the edge, kind of watching her walk away and thinking on what she just said, and then exits.
And as you linger, she turns around. She gives you the look back and smiles. You got the look back.
As soon as he shuts the door, he's like, she looked back.
And Thankmar, as soon as you leave, a couple of individuals walk up to you. These individuals are dressed in the armor of Eastwatch, or excuse me, Eastshore. Oi, I've heard of you. Yeah, I think this is the one. And the second one's like, yeah, no, this is the one. Oi, come with us. Our Lord wants to talk to you.
Who's your lord?
Who's our Lord? Listen to him. Yeah, our Lord is Duke Jessen Thade. You know, Duke of Eastshore.
And he left you two men here on the off chance that I might pop in? Or you just know that he wishes to speak with me?
Well, see, the Duke, he heard that there was some folk here, and he wants to have a word with you. Says you're noble born or something like that. So yeah, he wants to have a couple of words with you, perhaps over a drink or something. I don't know, just a messenger. And he kind of, it's definitely a double meaning to that inflection of messenger.
I'm not sure quite what you mean. You're a messenger, but just waiting here in this tavern for me to walk in to tell me this? And are you going to escort me? I feel like paranoid. This is weird.
I'm assuming you're trying to like play dumb on this one.
No, I don't. I'm not sure how to take them. Like, are they bullshitting me? I guess I have to roll insight check. I'll do that.
Sure, yeah. Roll an insight check.
18.
Okay. Oh yeah, wow. So you're getting that they're basically giving you a double meaning of messenger versus Ostrid, the messenger. Like it sounds like, you know, we're just a messenger, if you know what I'm saying. Kind of a thing.
I'd be happy to receive your good lord's invitation to speak with him. But on my own time, as you can see, I'm about my own business.
Yeah, well, going on a few...
Where might I find him?
And they point down kind of at the end. You see a... what almost looks to be... It used to be... seems to be like a simple fortification. Kind of like a tower with a few barbicans sticking, like kind of like popping out of it and around it, and what looks to be like just like kind of like a raised wall kind of around it, and it's kind of like the last tavern kind of in the area, and it's called the Castellan, and you see a few people coming out. You see a few people coming in. But they're definitely like armored. This seems to be kind of like the kind of tavern that attracts a lot of like warriors, fighters, soldiers. Seems to be like kind of like a soldier's bar kind of a thing.
And Osfred told us of this guy.
Ostrid had pointed out Sir Salem Keeling, and he was the individual from the one shot who tried to kill you all. Apparently,
Keeling serves the Duke, right?
Keeling does serve the Duke. You coming or what?
I'll go there when I mean to. You can tell him as much.
All right. And they both turn and begin to walk away. One stops and turns around and said, "You know, it's not wise to refuse a drink."
I'm not refusing. I said I'll come.
All right, then. And they go and they walk back to the Castellan, and they turn go inside, and that's all you see from them.
And that's when I'll move to the next place in search of Benjamin.
Okay. All right, and Benjamin, where are you gonna head?
After exiting the the not quite temple, the temple library, I will head straight to the back to the Perfumed Man, since that was where I was originally heading before I was sidetracked by two things, and the other one was kind of a moving sidetrack, so it's probably gone now. So I'm just going to go straight to the place that I was looking to investigate.
Sure.
Before heading back to try to figure out where my friends went. I know they went to the Baron, so I'll head there next.
Yeah. So as you make your way in, again, you are also greeted by these silk sheer curtains. Young man is same young man is standing there. Oh, good day, my lord, and how may I serve you?
Yes, I suppose I'd like something whiskey variety.
Oh, really? That a lot of people are drinking Dwarven whiskey today. And he,
Yeah, it's a popular drink today.
indeed, another sellsword came in before you and ordered the very same thing.
No, another sellsword. I would not consider myself a sellsword, sir.
Oh, forgive me. I saw your weapon. And
I mean, I'm a man who appreciates the value of protection, and he looks down at his, it's kind of a cheap, like, whatever the closest equivalent to a medieval equivalent of a 3-piece suit is, like, but it's like something that he's been able to kind of just cobble together. I'm a man of stature, and the lord and one of the protectors of a town and settlement. So I would appreciate if you did not disregard me as a simple salesman.
Of course. My gracious apologies, my lord. And he kind of he's stifling a smile as he goes back and grabs immediately the cheaper bottle. Would this be to your liking, my lord?
Oh hell! What's the nicest whiskey you've got on display today? Give me a top brand. Just a shot. I'm not in the mood to walk out of here with a bottle, but I'd enjoy to wet my whistle with something a little bit finer in your fair town.
Of course, my lord. I'll be right back. If you would just wait in the tavern, we have to go and get the bottle out of the vault.
Of course, thank you. He'll walk over to the the tavern side and kind of he'll just start walking around to anyone that looks like they work there and kind of giving them just like a slight sniff to see if anybody here has any like indication. Like I want basically he's trying to find out if this criminal Perfumed Man might have anything to do with this place, because he's kind of assumed that the Baron's advisor isn't related, or he can find out if he is.
So as you go in, you begin sniffing the patrons. Because, sorry, that's just...
No, just not the patrons, just the workers.
Oh,
I'm just sniffing the employees, and I'm doing it as discreetly as possible.
Oh, goodness. So, yeah, you walk through, and anyone who's serving drinks, the place, since Thankmar had left, had gotten a little bit busier. There's a few more individuals drinking. You go past a few patrons. A few of them, a lot of them are dressed, rather nicely. A lot of them are perfume, like they do have some type of perfume. A young woman smells of kind of like rose hips and a very interesting kind of sandalwood kind of spice. It's a very interesting mix between spicy and sweet. Another one smells of lavender and jasmine. Another one smells of jasmine and lilacs, which is a popular scent. You see another individual as you kind of go through. You actually get a whiff of someone who smells like, I mean, you don't even know what the cheap cologne would be, but if it was a cheap cologne, it would be this guy who's wearing the Stetson 24/7, just and he's actually sitting at the bar and just kind of raising his hand for another one. He seems to be pretty drunk.
Yeah, I'll sit down next to him. He has an interesting enough, and it's unique compared to these other people.
Okay.
So I'll sit down next to him and just sort of not say anything to him or acknowledge him at first, and just sort of listen for a moment, and then wait for my drink to be delivered.
Sure. The young man, doesn't take long for the young man to come back, and he is holding a bottle that is crystal all the way through, beautiful. And he said, "This is the finest dwarven whiskey we have. It is 3 platinum per shot."
Perfect. Why don't you go back and get another shot glass for me, and I will go out and I will talk to my squire outside, and I will have him give me my corn purse, because I just realized that I've only brought small denominations, only large denominations. I apologize. I've only got election pieces on me right now, and I assume an establishment like that wouldn't be able to break something like that. So just you head on back. I'm gonna get him a drink as well. So I'll have 2 probably, but thank you. Just give me a moment. He'll start getting up as if to start walking towards the door to go summon his.
Wow, that was so befuddled, so befuddled. All right, Thankmar. Because you go ahead and do you. All right, Thankmar. The one last tavern that's right beside the Castellan seems to be a very kind of mid-ranged kind of tavern. It's not a super high class, but it's also not a dirt bag kind of a spot.
Mm-hmm.
I see here's a crazy thing. Check out, the sun has made a sword on my closet door. So totally not an omen. You're not all going to die. So as you walk in, it's a very nice, like, kind of stone fireplace. There's a few, like, there's a low fire going, kind of just enough to kind of keep it decent. It seems to be like seems to be more packed than the upper scale places that you've been to. A lot of people are just, going around chatting. There's the bartender who's just kind of like making drinks like as fast as she can pull and just sending them like onto people to get drinks.
It looks too busy to go have a drink then, so I'll just move about the crowd mingling, amiably trying to like scour the place. And
Sure.
If I can't see Benjamin there, I'll move back out to the street.
And as you as you move through, you hear a lot of like a lot of scuttlebutt, a lot of like gossip, like, I can't believe that Duke Jesson Thade has just won the jousting tournament. And another one's like, well, of course he did. He's from Eastwatch. He's got them powerful horses, like, and you hear an elf. Well, if it were up to me, I would pick my money. I would have put my money on Sir Valen Knott. I've heard that he is one of the best jousters, but he could not make it this year. I heard he was sick, and this is not fair. And then a few, and there's a few more, like, they begin an argument and everything else. You walk past a few others. You see a few merchants kind of like huddled together. They seem to be individuals who are on the Council of the Just Scale, the Merchants Guild. You actually overhear one talking. Yeah, I mean, I've got to head down to what was it? Got to head up to Midnheim, but I like to go down at least go to the Viscounty of Trace. Go through Sunlit Shoals and then on to Wolf's End. But I've heard there's that new settlement. What's it called now? King's Gift. That's it. It's a small little spit of a town, but maybe we could sell something there. And hear another one like, yeah. We just set up a merchants guild, a guild outpost there. You should go on, have a look. Lords are friendly enough. People are friendly enough. And the other one starts like kind of nodding his head. And as you kind of like again meander through the crowd, you hear another one. A giant. No, yes, you've heard me. A giant. And apparently it was just outside. Yeah, no, like 4 people just came in not that long ago, and I think they were the ones that killed him because they had a big giant's ear on them. And then another one's like, no, that's not what happened. They probably just they found it dead, and then they just cut its ear off and just claimed that they killed it. I mean, come on. Who just walks around killing giants in his spare time? I mean, the size of those things. And yeah, other than that, that's kind of what you hear.
Mm-hmm. But still no sign of Benjamin there. And if the trenches are still filled with like patrons waiting to get drinks, I won't like wait there and busy the waitress further. I doubt he would have gone to the Castellan if Jess and Thade and such were there. So I'll move back to the center of the street from whence I'd come, which puts me like looking down the street at the Castellan. And maybe that's when I noticed Benjamin sitting inside.
Yeah, the
Perfumed Man.
Well, actually, funny enough, that I believe probably at about that time is when you leave. I assume that you leave the Perfume Man for a moment, don't you, Benjamin?
Yeah, I'm definitely walking right out of the Perfume Man.
And as you walk out, you see the very familiar outline, very familiar shape.
Your money or your life. Just kidding.
Please take both.
No. I've dead enough in King's Gift. What have you found?
Nothing we should discuss here.
Hmm.
Have you secured lodgings for the evening?
In the Baron's own holdings, Brahm watches the girl, and they make ready. She will flee this place.
You've
How long has this taken? 2 hours that I've been doing this about? If that's the case, then I'll say then she's probably very likely on her way already.
No, I'd say it's probably been about an hour, hour and a half.
Okay, I'll say then she'll be leaving in half an hour or so. Brahm seeing to it. She's better away from here.
well, you
Men
were.
from the Duke accosted me in this establishment here that you've come from half an hour or so ago. They know of us and of what we've done. They wish to speak. I intend to go do so now. We may as well not have all of our eggs in the same basket. Perhaps you should go back to see Brahm and Ostrid to safety. I can go on and see what this Duke knows.
But before you go, there's. I suppose if either of us are going back to the Barrens, we should discuss this here. I know there are a number of ears around, but I don't think any of them are paying us much attention. There are apparently 2 Perfumed Men.
Is that all?
Well, one is a criminal, does work for the Order of the Wilted Rose and the Silent Step. The other one, apparently, is someone close to the Baron, Gaston Vale.
I know him well enough, though his reek, I cannot tell if it is innocent or criminal.
Don't ask too much about how I know this, but I was told he serves a lord and a master.
Yeah, he seemed of snivelry. I've probed him fruitlessly. It is at his orchestration that we're in those lodgings. If he's compromised, they could be too. I'm sure you'll find out soon enough. I'll meet you back there.
Another thing.
Mm.
Thade. He's been arranging marriages.
That would make sense. He intends to destabilize the region. Orchestrate an alliance through marriage.
All right. You think you should go there alone, talk to him?
Nope.
I don't trust the man.
From what the rumor monger is, Craw, he's won a great joust. Knocked someone off a horse. There'll be people around to congratulate and fawn and grovel around the man. Dukedoms breed such. Perhaps I can wade through their mire and find something out about him. At least speak with him. Make sure the girl's gone.
Okay. Be safe.
And
Don't
you.
do anything you don't need to do.
You too. And then he'll turn and walk to the castellan.
And, Benjamin will head back towards the Barrens.
All right. As you head towards the castellan, you see like lots of people. Just kind of like it's wall to wall. There's like basically mail, plate, leather, every type of armor everyone's wearing, and they're drinking and they're like breaking. You hear breaking clay mugs because it seems to be that this is the kind of place where you don't really want to have expensive glass mugs. You just want like clay because it's easy to like get more clay mugs from. And people are laughing and drinking, and even like a small squabble breaks out. They just 2 people just punching each other for who knows why. As you look around, you kind of look up and you see there's kind of like a tiered balcony, kind of like an open square going up this tower. You see another tier, and you see one of the individuals that was just talking to you. telling you to like go see the Duke and whatnot. He looks down, kind of folding his arms, and he frowns as he looks at you, and he kind of like does this kind of motion, and points for you to, kind of motions for you to come up the stairs.
I'll do so.
Okay.
Stiff-backed, hands clenched.
You're really nervous for some reason. So as you make your way up the stairs, you see a few, like, you see some like basically one long table. Like every table was kind of sat end to end, and all the retainers, even the two squires, are sitting right beside, like the two squires sitting right beside the Duke, and all the retainers are sitting together. But like basically, there's just enough seats for all of them together, and then there's a couple of guards that are posted like kind of in front. That was the two that had seen you, and then two others as well. As you come in, they look at you and say, "We'll take your sword."
This is no battlefield. You've not bested me, so you'll not have my steel.
This is still a tavern. If you want to talk to the Duke, then you'll hand that over.
I will not. This is precious to me. If needs must, I cannot speak to him in private. That is fine. But each man here I see with spurs bears a blade as well. I count myself amongst them.
Oh, you're the Duke's man. And you hear this voice kind of rise up over the din. "Just let him in, for the love of the gods." And he just kind of like, he's just chowing down into like some haunch of something that used to be alive. "Come in, sit."
Your Grace, Jason Thade.
Yes, and you're Thankmar.
Yes, that's right. Your messengers found me. You know well enough of me, so congratulations.
Yes, well, it's not like there was much competition as usual. He's kind of like bites in, kind of rips off a piece of meat.
Who would wish to earn your ire by unseating you? Only a fool.
And he kind of like holds up a finger to you just one moment and kind of points to one of the retainers, gets him to like kind of like get up, and has you sit down. Immediately, a servant kind of like, or a server comes over and brings you a truncheon, basically just like a large hollowed out bread bowl with like a type of like lamb stew. At least that's what it smells like, lamb stew. But this place doesn't seem like so it's not like actually dog. It's, you know.
I'll thank the man and take the seat that's proffered and wait till the Duke's finished with his haunch. I'll just stare at him.
Well, he like, as he's eating, he's basically talking. I mean, last time we met, you sent how many good Eastwatch knights into the ground?
Enough to win, as ordered by the king, who bought me by law.
No. 'Twas no king who ordered you. It was that tight-ass git who waves around his familial claim to the throne.
The Baron is a king's man.
He's a king's cousin.
Indeed.
Go now. And that means nothing. You seem like the type who's been through around enough nobles to know that your family can be bigger enemies than your enemies can be. You a religious man? Thankmar.
I am not.
You're not? You don't follow a god?
In a way. In battle, my work worships Cord.
Knew I liked you. Well then, in the words of Cord, Storm of steel is coming just over the horizon. It depends on which side you're going to be on and which side the little town of Kingsgift is going to be on. Are you truly a baron's man?
I'm a king's man. I was elevated by the king. King's gift. We do homage to him there. So I serve the crown.
You did. Well, you do serve the crown.
Do you?
Of course I do. I serve a crown. I serve my crown. The only reason why that Eastshore is even part of part of the kingdom of Barra is because of them damn lizards.
Mm-hmm.
And if the king had met me on the field of battle honorably, instead of bringing his spell-slinging bastards to the battlefield, then I would probably not be here. Or you would be singing my praises. But we're not there, are we? And there is wizards kicking around, casting spells. Punters. But it's not very easy to have a lot of wizards around. It's not very easy to have a bunch of spell slingers to protect you all the time. No, you need men and women. Strong fighters with good steel and strong horses under them. That's what wins battles. Not some arcane blasphemy. I ask you, you're going to be loyal when Eastshore has had enough? Would you be loyal?
Speaking of treason.
Treason? Why?
Insurrection. The de-annexation of Eastshore.
Maybe. What of it? I'm an opportunist. Just like every mercenary, sellsword, spell slinger, hedge wizard, every bastard that comes in here, right through this world, wanting nothing more than to survive, make a few coin, spend it on some food, fill your belly, fill your guts full of drink, or fill your bed full of fine people. What you want? You want to be loyal to a king who might turn on you at any given point? Is that what you want?
I do not see why the king would turn on me.
King's gift is fertile land. And it's a much more powerful place than you can ever possibly imagine. You stand at a crossroads, a very dangerous crossroad.
And profitable.
Very profitable. Now, provided the king would see your success, he would wish to take that from you. Because why should some lowly noble pay his tax, get all that profit?
We pay our tithe to the king. It is written in law. If we profit, so does he, proportionately. The same way that a duke pays a tithe to the king, for instance, as a show of loyalty.
Yeah. Tithe. Well, the times, they are changing. And before I send you away, know that there is one side of history, and there is another. What you plan to do with it, Thankma, is up to you. If you plan to change, stand by your king. You might want to be prepared to fall with him, if need be. And that's where we're going to end our session for tonight. Which is totally not a threat. Yeah, that was totally not a threat in any way, shape, or form. So, ladies and gentlemen, thanks for tuning in. I think we revealed a lot more of the story and a lot more of possibly what's going on, although there's probably still some confusion, but I like keeping players confused. It's kind of a thing I like to do because it gets them invested in the story, like what's going on? You know, why do I not have an arm? Why are these things trying to kill me? I don't know. So as a DM tip for that, keep your players a little confused. You'll be surprised at how quickly they'll want to know more. I'm going to let these guys give out their, the heck you call it again? Exit? No. Outro. That's it. Outro, and we'll start from my left with Austin. Austin, if you want to plug anything that you want to plug, you might want to plug something. I don't know.
Nothing to plug. Just want to say thanks for another great game.
Go.
Yeah, same. Thanks, guys.
Cheers. Well, Lionel, you missed a whole bunch of good stuff that you could have been a part of. I had at least like 27 pages of notes for you. It would have been amazing, but you missed out. Oh, well, that's kind of unfortunate. And you also have Fantasy Clap. So anyway, from everyone sitting at home, thank you very much for tuning in, and tune in for session 7 whenever we can get it kind of sorted out. Anyway, it's me, Mike Piper, wishing you all very happy gaming, and as always, get inspired.